Hi, this is Michael Jurista from Jurista Law. I wanted to take the opportunity to talk to you today about some language I've heard of people speaking about the COVID vaccine. And I've heard some individuals on the internet talk about how my employer can't ask me whether I've had the vaccine. That's a HIPAA violation, such and such. And I just want to make sure that the general public understands that HIPAA violations themselves don't apply to most employers. HIPAA only applies to certain covered typed entities, healthcare providers, insurance, and even in those cases, there are some exceptions for that. So, in no way is a general run of the mill business subject to a HIPAA violation for asking about a vaccine status. Now, the follow up question to that would be is when can an employer require that an employee take a COVID vaccine? Generally, the current law as it stands right now, although this could change, is that most employers can require a vaccine for their employees to return to the office. There's different considerations that an employer must consider. For example, if the employer has employees who are unionized, the employer probably has to speak to the union about some ways in which to handle that, whether through negotiation or otherwise. Generally, the only other exceptions where an employer would be stopped from doing that would be if the employee claims a disability accommodation or a religious exemption or something like that. And even in those circumstances where the employee claims a disability accommodation, for example, the employer could take the position that workplace safety is threatened by the non-vaccinated individual working in the office. So the employer could, if they determine a direct threat exists, could require it. That being said, it's probably encouraged that the employer work with the disability claimed individual to make a reasonable accommodation for them under the ADA or any other law that applies. And with respect to religious exemptions, same sort of scenario. So long as the employee has a valid religious basis, they may be okay to claim it, and it's up to the employer whether or not they want to accept that. Um, in both the disability and religious accommodation, it's best probably for the employer to find out whether or not the individual truly needs to do their job from the office, whether they could provide an accommodation, work from home or the like, or whether their job truly requires the vaccine. Now, while employers want most employers would want their employees to get the vaccine. One thing that employers should be very cautious of is disparage treatment among employees. They shouldn't ask certain employees to get it and certain ones not to. So it's highly recommended that if employers want employees to get the vaccine, that they have some kind of policy in place where everybody needs to get it. And if it's something the employers really want them to have and they don't want to deal with issues, perhaps maybe they should encourage employees to get it by giving them something in exchange. For example, some paid time off, maybe on the day they're getting the vaccine or a day after recover, or some other incentive that the employer feels would make the employee want to do it and would make the employer and the other employees feel more comfortable. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, please visit my website, juristalawllc.com. And thank you very much.